Hey everybody, how you doing? There we go. Carpo here. Got this spare moment or two, a rare spare moment to actually have a little chat. You know, making videos is something that I have to find just the right time because I've got kids and wife and people are here. My son, my other son, older son, and my mom are both living with us. It's a full house, and I can't go outside or indoors or really find a place that's quiet. Anyway, I'm back here in my back room, and this is where I do my vids. Every time I do it, it's like a repeating pattern, or I don't know. When I start a video, I start off which is kind of like, hey, and then by the time I get halfway through it, I kind of know where I'm going with it, if you will. Today, I guess I just wanted to talk about truth, honesty, and delusions, and how we create this C patterns. I was watching a video this morning that was, I watched Vsauce. I don't know if any of you watched that or not, but it's, Vsauce is just kind of like a little informative. They do these little clips where they tell you about something, and it'll be 5 to 10 minutes long. And I don't subscribe to a lot of YouTube channels, and I don't spend a lot of time on YouTube itself because I don't really have the time to watch videos or have the quiet time to like learn about things. It's like if we're watching family TV, you know, we do watch educational stuff, but nobody in my family wants to learn about Hermetic teachings. That's my thing. So, and I don't blame them. So I do my research in my own time. I don't subscribe to very many things, so I figure I got to do some of the little quick videos are fun and informative. So anyway, the one this morning talked about, or one I watched this morning, was it about seeing patterns? It was about how we hallucinate. I think it was one about boredom, actually. They were saying, where does the word boring come from when we're bored? And he said it might have come from the idea of boring a hole, because it's so because boring a hole takes so long and it's so monotonous. I'm not sure if that's the actual etymology of the word, but anyway, it was an interesting comparison at the least. But he says that the more bored we are, the more excitement our brain will create for itself. Now, we know this already. You know, people who are very isolated tend to have very interesting delusions sometimes, or hallucinations. If you go into an isolation tank, like for example, my wife bought my oldest son and I gift certificates for my birthday for isolation tank down in a float tank down in Portland, and we haven't gone yet, and I'm really excited to go because floating in there allows you to remove yourself from all senses and completely go into a state into your mind. You know, it's like a psychedelic experience, and I haven't done it yet, and I think it'll be very awesome. Well, you can also do it by playing white noise. They were saying static noise in the background for just a few minutes, and putting ping pong balls, one cut in half, over your eyes. I guess you could use, something else, but to completely isolate yourself from feeling and from noise, and then just sit there and don't think. And over time, you will begin to see hallucinations and seeing things. Now, this is very similar to the states that many people go in meditative states. You know, when people go into intense deep states, or perhaps remote viewing, or perhaps out-of-body experiences. I don't know. My thought is that, of course, out-of-body experiences are something you just can't prove, but I don't think a person actually leaves their body, of course, or even their soul, but just rather, if it does happen, it's similar to remote viewing, and my idea is that they are both connecting with the ether, if you will, the greater consciousness that connects us all. It's indescribable, and it's something you either believe or you don't believe. And the evidence is not really sufficient on either end to support or disprove. It's one of those things like God. You can't prove or disprove God. And why bother trying? You either believe or you don't believe. And on that line, the stronger you feel about what you actually are saying, the more strength you put into how do I word this? True faith in something greater doesn't require convincing anyone. It doesn't require pious arrogance or, pushing your views on people. It seems like there's a misunderstanding about this. About, like I've discussed with people recently, the idea between religion and theology and how different they are from one another. How religion is more of a pattern or a way of life, and theology is, an extreme belief, or could be a pious belief, dogma. But ultimately, all of that's fodder. This is the interesting thing. We talk about all these things so intensely, but every one of us wakes up in the morning and has to create a pattern for himself or herself. In other words, I don't know how people feel when they wake up and they go into the bathroom and they look in the mirror for the first time in the morning. You're in your apartment or your house or your village or wherever you are, and wherever you are in the world, and we all wake up. It's the one thing that we really share before we go out among our day, is we all wake up, go into the bathroom, and look in the mirror. And at that point, we watch ourselves grow. We watch ourselves become something, but we have to face ourselves in this manner, in the sense that looking at your reflection, you're seeing your outer self. If you can use that other mirror, the secondary mirror, the third eye, if you will, you can focus that third eye inward to your inner self. And then you begin to see the reflection of yourself every day. And when you do that, you see reflections in everything you say. So everything that comes out of my mouth, I have to live up to. And when I meet someone who, say, talks a lot of bullshit, I always call them out on it, because I can't help it, because I feel like honesty is such an important part of life. So to try to tie this together, the thing with the patterns is when people start to see a lot of patterns, often it's a result of extreme boredom or delusion, but it's hard to tell the difference between that and a true, say, religious experience, or, a psychedelic experience could be compared to a religious experience, because, psilocybin triggers the same part of the brain as intense meditation or prayer. They call it the God Center, but it's, I can't remember if it's, the hippocampus, or, I'm not even going to pretend. I don't remember the name of the place, but part of your brain that deals with that, and you have particular feelings that are really strong. And when I was talking about MDMA the other day, I didn't mention MDMA is great for programming yourself. Nobody else can do it. You can do it, though, because it allows you to file things away in their own little categories and really see yourself for who you truly are, but not in a negative way. Whereas some psychedelics, like LSD or psilocybin, can allow you to see yourself in a negative way, whereas MDMA just lets you deal with the problems. And if we can, this state of mind that we're in at that point, it's because it takes the forefront thoughts and pushes them out and allows us to just see things clearly. It's almost like it takes the fog away, and we can see the parts of our lives that we need to deal with. And it's such an amazing tool. And the goal is to find that for yourself without psychedelics. That's what I'm getting at. To find that truth within yourself, to really be honest every day and show your true feelings, and not be afraid to expose who you are. And don't be afraid of society. And if you get ridiculed and if you get knocked down, well, get back up, try again. And many people are searching for answers in life. Many people are going and using psychedelics to reach these states, and I've always said it's a glimpse in the door. It's a foot in the door of a way we want to be. It's kind of like being inspired by a great speaker. Think of the mushroom as a teacher that teaches you how you can feel if you do it, who puts you through a certain class, but if you really want to live that, you've got to live it. So that requires waking up every day, looking in the mirror and seeing both selves, and being able to analyze them fairly and honestly without interfering with your extraneous ideas or thoughts or theories about how you think the world is. I find myself changing something about what I believe at least once a day. It seems like there's something that I'm listening to somebody speak, like, say, a really rational speaker, and they'll contradict something that I believe. And I'll be like, shit. For example, the pattern thing. I've seen a lot of patterns and wondered, is it the universe speaking, or is it my own mind? and I realize it could be a combination of the both. It just could be my subconscious picking up on what I want to see. And it becomes confirmation bias. And this is how we get into big trouble. Using confirmation bias is just only seeing the things that agree with what we want to believe and totally ignoring all the facts against them, which are often a multitude more. And so that's one of the things that I'm working on in my life, is that confirmation bias. Because if we don't look at both sides of everything, we do end up deluded. And if we find ourselves getting bored in life, we also get deluded. So the idea is to keep ourselves busy, mentally, physically active, so we don't become delusional. Yet at the same time, don't be afraid to, embrace the things that we really truly feel in our hearts are honestly true, such as, like I feel, I'm not an atheist, I'm not religious, but I believe that there is a cosmic mind, the all. The all is conscious, as well as each planetary body. The solar system is conscious, that man is represented in the whole. All these things are things that I believe because I haven't seen them disputed fairly enough, and I feel them in my heart to be true. The Hermetic beliefs, the very simple ones, like, the pendulum effect, if you feel a certain way, then you're going to feel, the opposite. You can't have pleasure without pain and balance type things. So the universe, of course, is mental to me. The universe is aware. And that's just something that I just believe because it makes sense and it feels right. But I can't prove that. So I ask myself every day, is that a delusion? Am I fooling myself into thinking that there is something greater? And I say no, I'm not, because there are certain things we are destined to just know if we're willing to listen. And one of those things is to know that we can never pin down exactly what it is that's greater. We can't see what the universal mind is all about. We never can. Humans are not designed to see that. But we can recognize that we're part of it and thereby create a better world for us and those around us. But that requires brutal honesty with ourselves. So that means, going through many degrees of understanding to where you can finally do something with it. I don't know really what else to say. It's a hard concept to put to words, but, well, I guess I'll get back to it another time. For now, have a great day, and everybody, and